Hi everyone, my name's Georgie and welcome to my very first YouTube video. I've decided to do my YouTube videos because I was diagnosed with cancer last year and I've relapsed, and I thought, well, you know what, I've got a lot of time to kill, I might as well. No, seriously, I just think it's so helpful that if anyone else is going through it, they may get a few hints and tips from me along the way, you never know. I wanted to do some YouTube vlogs all about my cancer journey. So I thought the best one to start with probably my diagnosis, what I had, because this is now cancer times 2. And yeah, so it makes sense to start at the beginning, I guess. Back in September of 2018, I was diagnosed with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. By the time I was diagnosed, it was in both sides of my neck, both sides of my chest, under my diaphragm, and it had snuck into the old left lung. Hodgkin's lymphoma is a blood cancer, and just so you're all aware, September of this year and every year is Blood Cancer Awareness Month, so this video is probably quite timely. Back to the start. No, so when I was diagnosed, I was literally diagnosed on the Thursday and I was in for my first chemo on the Friday, so that was pretty mad. And I'll go over all the symptoms and everything that I had. But I did 6 months of chemotherapy, which I had every 2 weeks. It was called ABVD, and I lost all of my hair, all the brows, the lashes, the works. I was like a giant potato. It was pretty grueling, but we got through it and I reached remission, only to then relapse a few months later. So I started chemo again in July of 2019. I'm halfway through that. I've still got another cycle, so I still have 3 more chemos, and then I will be having a stem cell transplant, which is slightly terrifying. But the only benefit of this chemo and this cancer so far is I've kept my hair. But that will all fall out again, but hey ho. I think it's probably pretty good to talk about the symptoms I had and what led me to going and getting tested. I, for about 1.5 years, had incessant itching all over my body, and it drove me absolutely bonkers. But I'd itch myself so much that I'd make myself bleed, and I went to the doctors like 4 times and they said it could be eczema or stress-related hives or an allergy, and I tried all these creams and lotions and potions and nothing ever made it go away. And then leading sort of like up to the time I got diagnosed, I started getting really fatigued, really tired, and I thought, maybe it's just because I'm a bit lazy. But also it's like I'd go out with my friends, it'd get to about 10 o'clock and I was pooped, like totally and utterly light bulb off, I'm done. And then as it sort of got closer and closer to September, I was getting more and more colds, and then I got a really bad bout of flu, or I thought it was flu. I was having night sweats, I started losing loads of weight, and I still didn't actually go to the doctor. It was only when I was starting to feel a bit better, I was at work, and I found this huge lump on the side of my neck. It didn't hurt, but it was about the size of a plum. And naturally you self-diagnose yourself on Google, and I gave myself Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I went, I should probably go to the doctors just in case. And when I went to the doctors and started explaining some of the sort of illnesses I was having alongside this lump, he brought out this checklist, and it was lump, yes, night sweats, yes, itching, yes, cold and flu, fatigue, easily bruising, and I was ticking off every single one. And he goes, let's be safe and just send you to get a few tests. So I had 2 weeks of CT scans, MRIs, biopsies, blood tests, the works. And I was adamant. I thought, this is all really silly, I'm gonna have like glandular fever or something, and they're making a really big deal out of this. And I got a call on the Thursday to say, you're coming in to the hospital today to start steroids because you're having chemo tomorrow for stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. So that was a bit terrifying. It actually was really good for me though, not having cancer. I mean, the speed in which it all happened, because it didn't give me time to fret and worry and think, oh my god, I've got cancer but I'm not starting chemo for weeks. It was very much, right, you've got cancer, in we go. I went in as quickly as I did because one of the masses in my chest was about 30 centimetres and it was pushing on a main airway, so I couldn't actually breathe very well. But yeah, so that's pretty much the beginning. If any of you out there are ever concerned with any symptoms, go to the GP. There we go, that was my adulting for the day done. So yeah, I got diagnosed, did 6 months of chemo. I'll do a YouTube video all about chemo and the side effects and all the sort of fun tips and tricks I learned along the way as well. So I won't go into all that now because we will be here for hours. So yeah, I think, oh, I should probably tell you a little bit about me though, shouldn't I? So I'm 27 now. Ugh, such a horrible, I feel like 26 is a nice age, 28 sounds like a nice age, 27 just sounds wrong. I have 2 pugs, which you will see on here a lot, Piglet and Tigger. Piglet and I had cancer at the same time. We both had lymphoma. She only had like the lumps removed though, which I was like, cheers, couldn't have that myself. And yeah, I haven't worked in about a year now, which sends me slightly doolally, which is partly why I'm making this YouTube video, to keep me occupied and out of trouble for a few hours. Yeah, but I did the 6 months of chemotherapy and it was tough, obviously, but I got into remission, which was really good, or at least I thought it was, because then I relapsed, and I'll do a video on relapsing too. I think this video is just telling you guys all the stuff I'm going to be doing videos of. Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep this video short and sweet, because this is essentially just me saying hey, explaining to you all the cancer fun stuff. And yeah, so it was lovely to chat, and I'll see you next time.